everyone. I'm Larry Ridley, and you're tuned in to Madden 18 on EA Sports. It's a fresh start throughout the league here in Week 1 as these two teams have high hopes for the season ahead. It's the Falcons going up against the Panthers.
All right, Larry, EA Sports coverage of the NFL finds us at Bank of America Stadium in Uptown Charlotte. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee as they'll start at the 21-yard line. First down, it's Newton. They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. 19 yards right off the bat, and a quick first down.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses, because when you can have that type of a gain in the middle of the defense, it hurts them in so many ways, because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that opened things up for you on the outside as well.
But that's where their big tight end, is so good, that middle third, the seam routes, the in routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it.
And he'll get this up past the 45 to the 47. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. If these kinds of lanes are available, you have to feel like he's going to have a pretty big game on the ground.
Yeah, you can tell early on he's got a little burst in his step, and that's a big pickup right there on first down.
On 2nd down, McCaffrey. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. At 5 yards on the play there, as the drive will continue.
They were not fooling around at all, were they? 2nd and short, and they brought out the heavy package. Almost felt like the super heavy package against that defense, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they expected that much beef up front, and it turned into an easy first down conversion. And a new set of downs here after picking up the first on the ground. And he'll give it here to his running back. And a pretty big hole as he's down to about the 40. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. Now a toss. This is McCaffrey. And some room to roam now. A big hitter there, a first down gain of 26 yards.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
And the next snap coming inside the red zone here. Back to the ground on first. It's McCaffrey. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
See if they stay on the ground for 2nd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. 2 yards on the carry there, and it's going to lead him to 3rd down. Here comes the 7th play of this opening drive. They've moved it well, but here's 3rd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he will take it across for a Panthers touchdown. A great play there. Taking it in from 11 yards out. And the Panthers take it right down and score on the opening drive. And this will be good to give the Panthers a 7-0 lead. Butker now to kick this one away. This one fielded at the 5. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. Throwing now, Ryan on first down. He completes it to Julio Jones. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. Now, Charles, what's the mindset here offensively? You gave up the touchdown pretty quickly. Would it have changed if you had gotten a stop and it would be 0-0 right now, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I think in most cases, just down a touchdown, you know, I mean, we're just getting started here. It should be a long way to go. You think to yourself, stick with the game plan, all the things you worked on in practice. But you have some teams that when they get down, their natural tendency is to aggressively strike back. And let's see if they want to get outside of the game plan we expect and try and be aggressive on their first series.
A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
For so many years, I was convinced it was a myth, you know, because you always hear about the smaller running back. Oh, he gets lost, you can't find him, and sometimes that's part of his genius. But it's true. You get behind big offensive linemen, the defensive line guys trying to find him, trying to peek around people to see him, and he gets lost. But this guy gets lost in a good way for his offense, picking up big yardage.
Freeman again, a first down carry. And he'll do a nice job here just to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. But at least he was able to break that initial contact, or it could have been a loss.
Yeah, give credit to the defensive player, though. What did he do? Made him slow down, slow up his feet, and allowed the rest of the guys to get there to finish him off.
The slot man in motion right. Now Ryan on second down. Escaping the pressure right. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's third down.
Oh, I like that right there. Not only was it the right play, throwing it away like that, frankly, I think it was the only play.
Yeah, got outside of the pocket, realized he had nothing, just chucked it free.
Yeah, live to fight another down, right?
And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here. So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football. Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves. And the Panthers bring in their nickel set as they try to defend here on third down.
5 defensive backs. Off the play fake to Freeman. It's Ryan. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
It's a great job by this secondary. When I watch them, they remind me of elite defenders on a basketball court, right? They want to contest each and every pass.
Great contest on third down to bring up fourth. On fourth down, here's Matt Bosher on to punt. Well, this is away, and it's a high kick. Hit pretty well. Carolina getting set to take the field. They'll be looking to duplicate the efforts of drive number 1 that resulted in 7 points in the 7-zip lead.
Well, you know how much I enjoy horse racing, right? Looks like they caught a flyer out of the gate, as they would say when you're running the big-time races. It means they get out to a fast start. They're setting the pace, making the other team chase now. Well, not a game that you're going to go crazy about, but when you start at your own 2-yard line, any type of space is good for the offensive guys.
Yeah, you just can't go backwards from here. They did it. Now we'll see if they can keep it on schedule here on 2nd down. They stay on the ground. McCaffrey again. Shifts by him. And he's able to get this up just shy of the 15. Trying to escape the shadow of their goalpost. That helped. 10 yards. First down. One thing's for sure. This defense has to figure out how to stop the ground game. He's eating them up here in the first quarter.
It looks like they have to go to different forces, aren't they? The conventional things aren't working too well. So I remember a coach of mine saying way back when a back's having a great game, you've got to get the ball out of his hands. See how far he can run without the ball. And what he meant was takeaways, knock it loose, because maybe you can't just stop him with just regular tackling.
With my good friend Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin. Offense still needing 10 yards. 2nd down.
Double tight, guys. Double tight. Hey, switch. Hey. Double up.
Pitching it out to McCaffrey. Oh, a heck of a move.
Man.
Brought down around the 16 or 17. Showed some tough running, but couldn't free much space. Give him 3 yards on the run there. That still leaves him with a difficult 3rd and 8 coming up. Out of the gun, Newton. They'll drop it off to McCaffrey. And he'll be out of bounds, getting it across the 25. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. Now a play fake here on 1st down. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. And their inaugural sack of the game coming from an unlikely source.
You mean it wasn't a linebacker? It wasn't a defensive end?
It was somebody like you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a surprise for the offense. That's not what they normally get when they think about pressure.
And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down. But for the Falcons, 5 men in the secondary, now on 3rd. A shotgun snap for Newton. Over the middle, complete to Samuel. Here's the Panthers punter now. Back deep, Taylor Gabriel. And he gets this away, angled for the sideline with a lot behind it. Wow. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. Atlanta now coming out on the field. The last couple of drives have ended in punts. Maybe the crowd minds that, but you're a defensive guy. You're okay with a couple of punt drives.
Listen, I'm the guy that loves a 0-0 pitch game. All right? In baseball, I can handle that going into the 7th inning. I think the crowd, though, they want to see a little bit more excitement. Let's see if someone can break something free on offense and get going.
Offense at a premium the last 2 drives. Freeman again. And he's going to lose yardage back to his own 1-yard line. Facing the prospect of a punt from their own end zone, they need some cushion. Let's see what they can do on 3rd down. The former Indiana Hoosier here, Tevin Coleman. And they'll mark him down right around the 9, just shy of the 10. He did well to get him 8 yards, but it's still going to mean a call to the punt team on 4th down. Here's Matt Bosher now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. His first punt, 45 yards. This looks good as well. It's a 45-yard punt, then 8 on the return. And the Panthers will take over in terrific field position. Carolina getting set to take the field. They've got the lead. Last time had to punt it, though. What's the key to this drive?
I think it's leverage. The big guys up front. You know the motivational speech on the sideline is, guys, give us an opportunity. Protect the passer, create space for our runners, and let's go ahead and get these guys. Low man wins. Let's go do it on this drive.
We'll watch that leverage on this drive. Again, they run. Again, it's McCaffrey. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues.
And this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
On 1st and 10, Newton. Pressure brought in, and the Falcons get there for the sack.
The game plan for any defense is finding ways to make a quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. When you bring pressure from all angles, you never know who's going to get home. In this case, the left cornerback, right in the face of him, puts him down.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. He finds his man, the tight end Olsen. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 15 as that'll lead to 3rd down. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. Back with more from Charlotte after this. From the gun on 3rd down, Newton. Gets it to Benjamin. It's caught. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. We often, with Cam Newton, talk a lot about his legs. Don't forget about that arm.
He can throw it on a rope. He can loft it. He's got the touch that's been developed throughout his career. But the big part about just watching him throw it, it seems almost effortless.
They'll try to run with McCaffrey. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. A great effort there. Already his 2nd touchdown here in this opening weekend. And the Panthers add on to their lead. And it's good to make it 14-0. Butker now to kick this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. second down. Ryan over the middle, and it's incomplete.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss. On third down, it's Coleman. No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively, and it likely forces a punt situation on fourth. Well, a well-executed blitz, no doubt. Great job by the linebacker. Maybe the quarterback, if he could have seen that, could have audibled there.
Yeah, he needed to be in a different play because that one just meshed perfectly for the defense. All the gaps were filled except for the one the offense really wanted to run through, and that was filled by a big man wanting to make a tackle.
And he made a great tackle. Carolina getting set to take the field. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good, so they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan and thought there were some holes in the defense, and they exploited them.
That he's into the clear. 20. Touchdown, Carolina. A big play there. On his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Panthers add on to their lead.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that could finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. Butker now to kick this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And here now come the Falcons. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. Fresh set of downs here. From the gun, it's Ryan. Hits his target. It's Taylor Gabriel. And he'll be taken down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Give him 30 yards there.
Usually hitting a deep post pattern, as we just saw there, for a big gainer, that's tough to do because you usually have a safety or two in the middle of the field. But if you hit enough cross, and underneath routes and curls, you start to get those guys creeping up, wanting to make plays on the football. It's the equivalent of a change-up in baseball. You show your other stuff, throw the change-up, and on that play, it worked for big yardage.
Decent chunk of yardage still left here. 2nd and 7. From the shotgun, Ryan. That'll be incomplete with 9 seconds now showing on the clock.
Well, he kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
The Falcons on third down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 7. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he picks up the first down yardage as he takes this one down to the 15. And they'll burn the timeout with 5 seconds left. A chance to try to add 3 points before heading to the locker room. So even though it's first down, here's the field goal unit on now to try to get 3 before halftime. And Bryant's kick is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So they're still down, but they are able to salvage 3 here heading into the lockers.
This is what you work on from the beginning of training camp. Heading into the half, put some points on the board. No matter what the score says at that point, you've accomplished what you set out to do.
Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. So we have reached halftime here in the Thursday night opener as we send you down to Orlando where we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports halftime report. Take it away, Larry. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This is taken at his 4. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Here comes the Falcon offense now as they get set to take over here. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve.
An attempt at a deep ball there. They didn't get it. But, boy, they're going to need a few of those to actually hit in order to get back into this game.
Good thing they do have a little bit of time here still left in the contest. Decent-sized deficit, but not one that they can't manage. They run the play fake to Coleman. Now Ryan. And this is Gabriel on the catch. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A good pickup there at 22. First and 10, it's Ryan. He rifles one that's intercepted. It's the Pro Bowler Luke Kuechly that picks it. Look down the numbers. There he goes. And he will bring this one back. It's a pick 6 for a Panther touchdown. This D wanted to put it away before we even get to the 4th quarter, widening that margin a bit further.
And while they won't just empty the bench just yet, if you're a backup, start loosening up. I think you'll get a chance to play before this one is over now with that type of a cushion.
So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. The return man here, T.J. Jones. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Now the Falcons offense, they get ready to head back out here. And last time, decent field position through the pick 6, obviously costly.
But they can't afford to just bunker in now. All right, good field position means go ahead and attack on offense. Try and press the advantage a little bit. They just have to be better with the football on this possession.
So that didn't bother you too much last time?
No, because it's exactly what you're supposed to do. You can't have good field position and not try to take advantage of it. Sometimes the defense makes a good play, too.
That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
With the struggles we're seeing up front for the offense today, they've got to think about changing up their play calling. Some screens, some draws, some quick-hitting plays in order to try and supplement the run game. You don't totally abandon it, but you try and give it a little bit of help.
On second down, here's Ryan. The left side completion to Jones. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for third down. On third down, it's Coleman. No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively. And it likely forces a punt situation on fourth.
Another down on the scoreboard, but the urge to go for it is almost irresistible here on 4th and short. Yeah, I know they're on their own side of the field.
I was going to say.
Normally I would say punt the ball away, but I'm feeling it. I say go for it.
So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And the Panthers are going to get it back in excellent field position. And they'll start this drive with very good field position. On first down, this is McCaffrey fighting his way down to about the 35-yard line. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Not much happening there on first down.
I thought there might have been a hole for a split second.
Yeah, but it dried up pretty quickly, didn't it? Closed fast.
Second down following the run. McCaffrey on the toss right. Even with the good footwork, he'll be stopped just inside the 35. Calling a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 5.
This is what happens sometimes when you abandon the running game. It's hard to get back to it because once guys get out of that mentality of firing out and hitting people, hard to get them started again occasionally.
The Panthers on third down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. From the gun, here's Newton. Got his target, Samuel. Give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. He can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
So the offense has it, 6-yard line, 1st and goal. Another run, this time McCaffrey. And he gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4.
In my book, that's running the ball well, but with intelligence. How about him keeping the clock moving, staying in bounds?
Yeah, even though it's the third quarter, you're thinking ahead, aren't you? This is where your running game can really help you with a lead in the second half.
I agree totally. It's not just end-of-the-half situations that you worry about the clock. It's throughout the game. And with a lead, stay in bounds. Make them fight harder to try and catch you.
And he gets halfway home from the 4 down to the 2-yard line.
Well, they made the play there, and I'll guarantee you their coaches and the other players are screaming at them about their pride. Come on, guys. He's already gotten in 3 times. You can't give up a 4th one. And on that play, they were able to make the stop.
And you knew they were going to go to him to try to get that 4th.
And why wouldn't they? It's not just getting the 4th. He's the hot hand, so to speak, right? The hot feet in this situation. And he knows how to find the end zone. That time, he just didn't get there.
Defense likely bringing pressure here. 3rd and goal. And he is in. Touchdown, Carolina. A great play there. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Panthers just continue to pour it on. Butker now to add the extra point. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. Butker now to kick this one away. This is taken at the 3. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Atlanta now coming out on the field. And last time out, went for it on 4th down, turned it over, gave him great field position, turned into 6 points, so they've got to recover here, Charles.
It's amazing what one decision can do in the chain of events, right? The decision to go for it on 4th down.
Caused all of that.
It caused every bit of it, but it showed confidence. Hey, I've got confidence in you guys. Go pick it up for them. Didn't happen. Also showed confidence in the defense. They didn't pick up their end of the bargain, so now they've got to come back out and start over and rebuild that confidence.
Oh, incomplete. The rookie had it and lost it there, and it'll be 2nd down. So incomplete on first. Let's see what 2nd down has in store. This is Coleman. A very tough run, but for a short gain out near the 32. Call it a gain of 4, and it'll leave them with a 3rd down and 6 to go.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
The Falcons on 3rd down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. Out of the gun, it's Ryan. Buying time, and he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes.
One thing they definitely like about this youngster is his motor. He is full throttle on each and every snap. Loves to get after the quarterback, and that has to feel good to him right there. His first career sack.
Here's Matt Bosher now as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. And we're back now in Charlotte. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Here's Matt Bosher now as he's on to punt for Atlanta. And he gets it away. A directional kick going toward the sideline. So this punt sails out of bounds across midfield. Now the question, they're going to spot it right at the 40, the 40-yard line. Now the Panthers offense, they get set to come back onto the field. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
Newton going to hand it off to McCaffrey. And nothing but daylight ahead. Past the 20. Touchdown, Carolina. A great... effort there. 59 yards. And the Panthers have got it on cruise control. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. Butker now to kick this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Here are the Falcons as their offense heads back onto the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue.
Well, so much for him being bottled up throughout the day. Finally finds a way to break through and get a really nice gain. The defense has felt great about what they had going. Now they've got to turn their attention to getting it back in that direction. Can they bottle him up again? Because I'd say after that run, confidence is pretty high for him. But you know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. Here's Ryan to throw. He's airing it out for Sanu. And not only did he drop it, he dropped it in the end zone.
Those throwing windows get a lot tighter near the end zone, don't they? And here's the thing. You already probably have 3 points in your hip pocket. You force a throw here and give up an interception, you come away with nothing.
Especially tough in the middle third of the field where he threw that one. And now the first throw for the backup quarterback. Dancing, and he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down.
One thing they definitely like about this youngster is his motor. He is full throttle on each and every snap. Loves to get after the quarterback, and that has to feel good to him right there. His first career sack.
And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And the punt over the side in the air, and the spot will be inside the 35. Carolina getting set to take the field. And, Charles, in a very one-sided affair, I think we've reached the point in the broadcast where you and I, we may have some filling to do, right?
Yeah, I think you're right about that because we got to try and keep people around. We don't want them to change the channel. Stay with us in this game. Is that Ben Ramsauer? Are you hearing from Ben on the headset here telling us stretch this thing out a little bit?
Get some talking points. Dig them all out.
That's what you get. A big-time producer. Keep him here.
And he'll be tackled just past the 35 at the 36. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down. And after the play on the ground, that brings up second down here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
So the run moves the chains, and here we go on first down. And to give this time to the tailback. And he'll be knocked down sideways. Right there at the 43. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield. So they get half of what they needed. It'll be 3rd and 6 upcoming.
But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
The Panthers on 3rd down. They have been superb. 5 for 6 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. Now a handoff looking right. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. He loses 4, and it brings up 4th. Here's the Panthers punter now. On for his second punt. He'd take a repeat of his first. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. And that is much too long. That's into the end zone for a touchback. So out come the Falcons now. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
Austin Hooper, the tight end, was the intended target. And now it's second down. Coleman now. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. Calling no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a third down. And this defense continues to give them fits. They just can't get really anything going on the ground, can they?
I love the theme that you just brought up. This defense has been tough all game long against the run. We just saw another example of it there.
The Falcons on third down. It's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. From the gun, Ryan. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
My high school coach, John Ford, used to say all the time, if you're in a bad situation, laddie, don't compound it with a bad decision as well. And I think that's what we just saw there. Harassed in the pocket, and he throws into double coverage anyway.
He called you laddie?
He called me laddie, and that was the nicest thing he called me.
And this punt goes out of bounds, and it'll be marked inside the 40. And the Panthers coming out now. They have the big lead here late. They protected their home turf well, didn't they?
They certainly did, partner. And just think about how good that feels, because every team has a goal when they start the year to win at home. All right, and sometimes you don't win all of them, but they managed to get that done today. Just think about your routine stays the same. Everything's familiar. You feel right going into the game, and they translated that into a win.
They did indeed. They protected the home field, and now the final stages. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Defense still with 3 timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them here as the kneel down comes. Well, my friend, for the players, it's good for them to get that first game under their belts. For you and I, that first Thursday night game, also good for us to get that under our belts, wasn't it?
It was no longer preseason. We were into the regular season, the first game of the year. And, you know, all eyes were watching this one. Everyone was excited that football was back.
And it's just special. You could just feel it. It's so good to have the pigskin back out there. It'll be crisp fall weather before we know it.
You got that right, but I love the build-up to it, right? All day long anticipating it, and then we got here and we saw a game, the first game of the year. Let's keep going.
So for the Panthers, they begin the new campaign with a victory here in front of the home crowd in the Thursday opener. And now they'll get the weekend off as they get a little extra time to prepare to face the Baltimore Ravens. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, they obviously fall to 0-1 with the defeat. And they'll try and turn things around next week as they have a date at Soldier Field with the Chicago Bears. So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. The Panthers are winners here as we say so long from Charlotte.
Okay, so the Bucks have just made Fairley their newest player.
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive player. Need I say more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Jaguars have made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
He was considered one of the top tight end prospects along with another big guy this year, but a lot of scouts were unable to answer who the best of the two was. Following the All-Star game, I asked Matt Miller, and he was quick to call the debate over. Matt watched both of them closely all week, and he was impressed with this kid's ability to attack the ball. They both received roughly the same amount of targets, but his knack for going after the ball helped him grab a few more than the other prospect. Receiving tight ends are becoming more common in the league, and he showed this team that he could be relied upon in the passing game more than his classmate.
The Seahawks are now on the clock. Seahawks have just made Clark their newest player.
Like football, rugby's a sport that's played with guys of all shapes and sizes. In his case, he was one of the big guys pushing and pulling blocks in the center of the pitch. He was playing rugby for a university in Australia before he was recruited to transfer and play football for 2 seasons here in America. His first year was spent adjusting to the game, getting used to the different rules and how to play his position properly. The guy even had to adjust how he tackled now that he had to wear pads and a helmet. But his second year is really where we started to see what he could potentially do. He's a physical player at the line of scrimmage. The team was able to pick up a good addition to its line with a bit of an interesting history.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. Now that the Broncos have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter for more.
He was one of the most dominant pass rushers in college football last year, getting everyone's attention after netting over 20 sacks and setting a new school record. He started seeing double teams at the line midway through the season, and that still didn't stop him from getting to the quarterback. Scouts all agree that he is a rare combination of strength and burst off the line that make him a threat on almost every play. He's a real difference maker for a defense, and he should be a starter for this defensive line in no time.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Dolphins' latest pick.
The foundation of any good team starts up front, and here's a guy who's a franchise's dream come true. GMs I talked to pointed to several of his games in college where he took on some of the nation's best defensive linemen, going toe-to-toe with them for 60 minutes of brutal trench combat and dominating them. He's going to be able to protect a franchise quarterback in addition to opening up holes for the run game. With size, speed, and strength, he should have a very successful NFL career.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. Now that Ryan's been picked, Adam, what do you know?
I've spoken with a few GMs to get a better feeling of where he was on their boards, and I was surprised to see there was no clear consensus. He's the first quarterback on some boards, while others place him towards the bottom. And if you look at his performance this season, you'll see why. He was up and down every game, never putting together a string of solid performances. Consistency is the concern here, and it looks like this team feels that with solid coaching and patience, he can start putting all the pieces together.
The Eagles are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. Now that Scruggs is off the board, Adam, what do you have on him?
He was credited with having one of the biggest plays in college football this season. Late in the game, he picked off the quarterback and ran the entire field to score the game-winning touchdown. He did everything a coach would want to see, from baiting the quarterback to reading the downfield blocks. He flashed enough playmaking ability in that game and the remainder of the season to draw a lot of interest this offseason. This team has to be pretty happy with this pick.
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam now, who's got more on the 49ers' latest pick.
He was dismissed from the team earlier this year after reportedly not showing up to several organized team activities. This immediately raised some red flags among scouting circles around the league. However, I've been told that he came off as very sincere during the combine, telling teams that he was a team player and he won't make the same mistakes again. That sounds good on paper, but this team will find out very soon if he can back it up.
The Browns are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Colts pick is in. Adam, give us the rundown.
He kicked off the offseason with one of the best all-star performances among defensive backs this year. How well did he play? As Matt Miller described, he simply took his matchup out of the play each and every time. The quarterbacks did their best avoiding him throughout the day, throwing to the other side of the field or the check down read. After he made such a big impression at the All-Star game, he backed up his play with a fantastic showing at the Combine and Pro Days. The team has to be grateful he was available at this point in the draft, and it didn't waste any time scooping him up.
The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock.
Steelers just made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about Ballard?
Well, he showed potential in school. He turned in one of the weakest performances of the defensive linemen at the All-Star game. Anytime he was on the field, they lost the battle in the trenches, giving up rushing yards and giving the quarterback plenty of time in the pocket. Matt Miller told me he got stood up by any offensive lineman he was matched against, and struggling to get off the block removed him from a lot of plays. He needs to develop some moves if he's going to get by blockers. You can't just rely on strength alone anymore, especially not in the NFL.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock.
Now that the Jets have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
Once thought of as a top 3 offensive line pick in the draft, a series of poor performances that saw him miss several routine blocks and surrender multiple sacks had most scouts losing interest. Ross Tucker felt that he simply fell into some bad habits with his footwork, citing a lack of focus that sometimes happens when a young kid with talent begins reading his own press clippings and becomes enamored with where he'll land in the NFL. Tucker may have been onto something regarding him reading the press clippings. After seeing reports of his draft stock slipping, he put on a performance at the Combine that turned many ahead. Not often are you granted a second chance, and that's exactly what he's received by being drafted. His new team is hoping he'll make the best of it.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock.